Hi everyone and welcome to the first episode of Top 5 Go. This is our new show where we're going to deep dive into realms of beer, comics and all things geeky, but in a slightly different way. So I'm Jeff and together with my fellow Brewgooders we're going to use science and petty squabbling to uncover the very best of the best in all the things we tend to talk about on the show. So whether it's craft beers, whether it's comic book storylines, whether it's movies, games or whatever, we're going to try and rank them all. And decide once and for all what is the best in any given category. So today, this first episode, we're going to be looking at 80s movies, top 5 80s action movies, in fact. And the way it's going to work is in each episode, we're going to go down from 5 to 1 in descending order. Fifth place will be allotted 1 point, and it'll increase in points until you get to number 1, where the number 1 scoring a solid 5 points. And then at the end of each episode, I'll tally all the points and crown the absolute top choice in whatever that category is. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Good. I had to explain it before we went to air about 10 minutes ago.
As long as it makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does make sense to me, and I'll try and hold the reins as best I can. So yeah, grab your favourite brew, sit back, and let's decide what the top 5 best action movies from the 1980s are. Starting at number 5. Ready to go, guys?
Yep.
Right, 3, 2, 1. Number 5. Ooh. Wow. Okay. So, right then. So okay. John, start us off. Lethal Weapon 2.
So originally I had Tango and Cash, but it turns out that was released in 1990. Blast. So Lethal Weapon 2 was possibly one of the first bigger action films I remember seeing at the cinema when it was like a 15 certificate. Or even maybe 14, maybe been a bit early. So Lethal Weapon 2, just the first time I've seen a Lethal Weapon film, fantastic. Red Honor directing, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover on form. Bit of comedic banter with Joe Pesci as well, got introduced in that film. And of course, Joss Whedon as the diplomatic community bad guy. Just, you can't beat it, it's fantastic.
He's getting too old for that shit though, isn't he?
And he was younger than me. Danny Glover was younger than me in that film, and that's horrendous. And I'm getting through the shit, so...
Patsy Kensit was fine in that movie as well.
She wasn't bad, yeah. Yeah, she was okay.
Andrew, what's your movie? No Retreat, no
Surrender. This was a action karate movie which gave us a young man who was beaten up in front of a girl that he liked, and went home, prayed to the world to something help him, and ended up the ghost of Bruce Lee came alive again and trained him in karate so that he could beat up the character who had beaten him up at a party. That character being the first movie appearance of the Muscles from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme as...
No way. I feel like you've made this movie up in a dream. I've never heard of this.
John's shaking his head. This is an actual movie. No Retreat, No Surrender. And the guy screams to the world, "Sit and say, Lee, you have to help me." And the ghost of Bruce Lee comes and trains him in karate so that he can beat up this mad, evil Russian kickboxer played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's a solid 5 out of 5 movie. Absolutely brilliant.
The 5th best action movie of the entire 1990s, according to Andrew. Amazing.
Action movie.
The 5th, yeah.
All right, okay. Stu, number 5 is Mr. Vampire. Yeah.
Yes. 1985. It is like a horror action comedy. Sorry. It's just one of those films I love from watching. It was like early 2000s I discovered sort of Hong Kong cinema, where it was just like pure on action comedy, where there's like vampires coming back from the dead, loose on a village, and it's up to like the local Taoist priest, his 2 apprentices, and a pervert cop to stop them from causing panic.
It was the 1980s when they could when you could happily fit like a predator into the into the comedy cast and it would be okay.
Never
So
heard of
talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme and talking about Predator, I went with
And yeah, that film went on to spawn like a whole series.
oh, I didn't realise, man. So there is a Mr. Vampire franchise.
and I've never heard of any of them. Are you talking about the Predators?
No, I'll move on to Predator. I jumped ahead. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I think Stu's a wee bit behind us. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you can hear me very well. Okay, so my Predator. I really struggled. No worries, my man. I really struggled trying to find this top 5 list. I did the whole thing when I looked at actually what were movies that were released in the 80s. Found out a lot of movies I liked were actually 1990s. But Predator is talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, he was originally supposed to be the Predator in a lobster suit. But obviously that's not what we got. We got the iconic alien. We got Arnie at his iconic best. We got toxic masculinity at its absolute best. It was just the best. It's just the one of the best like movies ever. I think of any franchise. It's just so silly. There are four films that I put ahead of this, but I was really struggling. There was particularly Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like I found that there was 3 Arnold Schwarzenegger films that were shuffling in and out of my number 5. But I think Predator gets it because Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura and an iconic baddie and just so many memes.
It's a movie, no doubt.
Yeah, awesome. I think Stu will be back in a second, but we jump into number 4. So your number 4. Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Die Hard.
Oh, we get. Do we get any bonus points for both having Die Hard in the same slot?
Well, yeah.
Die Hard gets 3 points instead of 2 because we that's a new rule.
Change these rules as you go along, mate. That's
Let's get on. What was your movie, Andrew? Sorry, I got so excited by that. The Last Dragon.
My movie was The Last Dragon. I'm just going to stop and put my cam because it appears to have gone a bit crazy.
No. Well,
Andrew's sorting that out. Die Hard is, I think, again, one of the coolest films ever. John, why did you put it at number 4? I thought you would put this higher. Actually.
Yeah, there's a lot more out there that I enjoyed, that I've seen and watched more that I've enjoyed, like repeat. Die Hard is fine, but you can't watch it too often. Fine. But it's a very well made movie. Very well. I don't even watch it because I watch it any time of the year because it's a film for all year. Not Christmas. It's a great film. Obviously, McTiernan directing with future director Jan Bond on cinematography, which is just fantastic. You know, a lot of the moving scenes, a lot of the tanks and helicopters moving was all down to him. Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, fantastic. What can you say?
I was worried that at some point in the future we're going to do a best Christmas movies top 5, and I didn't want to be repeating myself. And that's a hill I'm willing to die on. Is that one? So that's why I didn't put Die Hard into my list. So
yeah, fair enough. It's fine. It's winning the league just now. Tell us about The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon sounds even more ridiculous than my last movie. The Last Dragon is about Leroy Brown, the man who goes by the moniker Bruce Leroy. He was Bruce Lee's acolyte, and when Bruce Lee died, it was just before he attained this sort of final level of martial arts. And there's like bad guys kicking up his neighborhood that he has to fight. The evil bad guy can glow. He's called Show Nuff, completely ridiculous. when he attains this last level, when Bruce Leroy gets there at the end, he glows with a sort of orange glow like a Ready Break Man, and he can beat anybody or something like that. It's completely ridiculous, a barrelly fun. Just at the end of the sort of like start of the action movie, sort of with a wee tinges of blaxploitation type thing, you know, like
Yeah.
the that sort of movie that you would have found Richard, what's his face in, and you know, like Shack and things like that.
Roundtree. Yeah.
Roundtree.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. Look it up.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm enjoying writing these down. Stu, what was your number 4?
How is my quality now, by the way?
Yeah, you're fine. Much better.
Okay, because I can watch wrong, but if it is crappy, I'll nip out after the 80s and let you do the rest in peace. But yeah, it's strange. I've closed everything, so hopefully it should be fine now. My number 4, Running Man.
Oh, that was so close to being in my top 5. That's what lost out to Predator. Cracking movie.
Love this film.
Yeah.
Soundtrack, the costumes, the one-liners, peak Arnie for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My slight problem with that is it's a Stephen King, based on a Stephen King short story, and even more than like Mark Miller's or something like that. This is the movie that has the least resemblance to the actual book that it's based on of any book that I've ever read in my entire life. Like the name of the main character is the only thing similar to Wanted. I think I've spoken about that. It's ridiculous. It's a great movie in its own right, but they just wanted to attach Stephen King's name to it and use the name so that to help them sell tickets.
Like now when you think about it, like I don't ever, I know it's a Stephen King book or a Stephen King story that was written on, but I'm like at no point do I ever consider that, and like that was, I don't know obviously what stage Arnie was at in his career and how much name value he had, but actually like the fact that it's a Stephen King story has like no bearing on that movie at all for me, and any of my engagement with it, you know.
It's a good movie. I think it's when Arnie was doing all those sort of movies, the Mars one and that one, things like this. Yes, it's a good movie in its own right.
It's a great shout, just to.
Since I'll be back in that movie.
Yeah. He also says we
just that movie, yeah.
Yeah, just that one. Okay, with that in mind, will we move on to number 3?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, John.
Oh. Okay.
Running Man.
So Running Man is now winning as the top movie of all time. Terminator. Hold on. Terminator 3. Batman 3. And Lethal Weapon. Is that the first one?
That's the first one, yeah. The first two were both in the 80s, but yeah, I've gone for the first one for the Lethal Weapon franchise.
Talk us about Lethal Weapon, Andrew. Why is that their third favourite 80s movie? The only one I've heard of so far.
The number of movies that are out there now where you have like an aging detective approaching retirement or something like that, you know he's either going to get killed or something horrible's going to happen. Also, we didn't really know much about Mel Gibson at that time. He'd been Mad Max and things like this, but he wasn't, Mel Gibson, international superstar. Gary Busey is in this as the bad guy, and he's absolutely phenomenal. It's just a really, really good movie. There's if you look back on it, there's scenes that you can't believe. Things that are sort of memes now. Things that are like, oh, you can't get me to do this. That's been done a billion times. It was done first in this movie. This movie was the trendsetter. This is the first movie I ever seen a mobile phone on. When Murtaugh wants to phone the station to see if he can get rid of this guy, he has to go into the boot of his car and pull out this box of it. It's a thing, yeah, stuff like this. It's incredible. I think it was about 1980. I want to say 3 or 4 or something like that. It's just a great movie.
Yeah. John, anything you want to add to The Running Man?
It's a great film, score, it's action wise, one-liners, just liners are fantastic. No, it's just a really good film, well put together. It's just a lot of. That's really what I want from an action film. You just want a bit of funny, classic liners, and just a bit of fun. That's when the R kind of formula was starting to come in place. That I'll be back and all that kind of stuff. It was always getting repeated. People were like, okay, that's his catchphrase. Okay. And it's all like the classic tropes were starting to come to line that you expect from an Arnie film. Yeah.
I was to say, like, talking about Arnie films, like, I've got the first Terminator movie. Really struggled to work out where that was going to be my second or third. But yeah, the first one is great. Obviously, it's the originator of I'll Be Back, directed by James Cameron, who's like the titan of cinema, but had at that point only done one film before this. Does anyone know what the film was before he did Terminator?
Piranha 2.
Piranha 2, yeah.
Spawning, I believe it was called, yeah.
Yeah. Somehow he manages to convince enough people to give him several $1 million to make this cyborg action movie with but that's just great. It's really good. Arnold's amazing in it. Linda Hamilton's great. I like Michael Bain. Like, I think he's one of those guys that, like, I don't really understand what happened in his career, and that he's Kyle Reese, and he's just one of those.
He was just he did. He did Navy SEALs and things like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I watched Abyss recently, and he's in that as well. He's the main antagonist in the Abyss, and just a really good cast. Lance,
he is in one of my all-time favourite movies, which is Tombstone. And he's phenomenal in that, but overshadowed by how good Val Kilmer is in that movie, and both.
Well, it's the same. He's in one of my all-time favourite films, which will be revealed in the 90s, top 5 90s action movies. But just great. Terminator's brilliant. Great score. That like, it's just great. Like, you can tap that on a table and folk know what you're drumming. You know what I mean? Like, you could just like, it's just excellent.
The thing was it Brad something?
Bradell.
Yeah. And I love a science fiction action movie that uses like paper phone books as its main storytelling mechanism as well. I think that I don't think that gets recognised enough. So yeah, that's my number 3. Stu, what you have Batman '89?
Yes. On Case DVD.
Love how you're holding up the DVDs rather than
just
the hand
probably
drawn
my
bits of
favourite
paper.
Batman movie. Yeah. So I just loved this as a kid. Always like great lines. Like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Like, just things like that would just stick with me, and I'll say randomly on mute during podcasts. And yeah, it's just one of those films where it was like the ultimate movie for me as a kid. I could watch on repeat. You want to keep me quiet for like 90 minutes, you just put that on and I'm not a problem. But yeah, absolutely
fantastic score as well with Danny Elfman and obviously Prince.
Yeah. That opening shot over, like, it's kind of like flying through like a hedge maze.
My favourite Batman, I must admit, Keaton was absolutely phenomenal as Batman. So yeah, good movie.
Yeah, I agree. Right, number 2 is, guys. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, so close, Stu, so close. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Right, okay. John, Ghostbusters.
That was me.
No.
No, sorry. Yeah, you Predator. Sorry, that's why I confused myself.
That was Predator. Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say Ghostbusters. it's 3 or 4 guys. They've got a souped-up car. They're traveling about fighting people and things, and they save the world. What's more actiony than Ghostbusters?
Sounds like you're
Well,
describing a
Fighting
Fast and
people
Furious
and
movie.
you mean ghosts. Yeah.
And Ghosts, no, but they do fight.
And ghosts.
They punch a guy at one
Punch
point.
guy, yeah.
Um,
Waterbeck.
It's got the 80s stalwart storyline of having one of the heroes be an absolute creep to women, which is always really good.
and getting the girl off the back of his
Getting the girl, get Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, no, great. Because you led us all to believe that that's what we should do. That's it. Yeah.
Nah, Ghostbusters is excellent. So well written. And from what my understanding, when you look at it as well, and when it sort of got rewritten constantly, even during filming.
Yeah, I
And
think
it shouldn't have worked, and it does.
Harold Ramis was sort of the main creative force on set, wasn't he? He was it was amazing.
Yeah, I agreed. John, Predator. Yeah, jumping on board.
It's absolute crack film. I did an irony season a few years back, and I thought I hadn't seen Predator for a while. I'll stick it on. It's just an amazing one. The score, I mean, it's just amazing. The tension as well. Where Arnie's like hiding in the mud and the Predator can't see him because it's all infrared. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah, it's great. I did Escape from New York, which is, I think, my favourite Kurt Russell movie, on top of at least my favourite 80s Kurt Russell movie, on top of John Carpenter is one of my favourite directors. It's just such a high concept, and all his movies are like that, where you just kind of he just comes up with something totally random, and it's and then he moves on to his next movie, and it's totally random. But Escape from New York's it's written like a pulp. It's written like a pulp science fiction action novel, but it's just beautifully filmed. It's really bold. I really like the idea that the bravery that must have been taken for John Carpenter to put that together, because there's not really a film like it, or not one that I can think of, and it's just Kurt Russell's amazing. Snake Plissken's an absolute icon. Great supporting cast as well. I think Escape from New York. There's so many movies that you look at now that you're that are influenced by Escape from New York, and folk don't even notice it. Even down to things like putting a chip in and that'll explode if he goes off mission and stuff like that. All that sort of stuff. Just a cracker, an absolute cracker. But not Stu's favourite Kurt Russell starring John Carpenter movie, apparently.
Escape from New York is his number one.
Oh, he might, absolutely.
But I'm not
That's
sure
it, it's possible. But yeah, this is a classic that I've definitely came to too late. I had memories of it, and then watching it as an adult, and realizing that Kurt Russell may look like the main character, but he's absolutely useless, and it's the people around him that make the movie.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I think Kurt Russell made that. Kurt Russell's got a couple of films like that. Kurt Russell does that whole thing where he just sort of is there, and then the things happen around him. It's brilliant. Love it. Yeah.
The big floating eyeball, or the big floating ball with all the eyes. Fine. That definitely flipping through the channels at the wrong moment. That came on. It's oh god. I'm not going to watch that film. I was as a 10-year-old maybe. But no, just everything from the funky music, just the absolute madness that goes down. His sidekick, Wang Chi, just how he is the sidekick, but he's the hero of the film. And yeah, again, the one-liners. Jack Burton says this and that. The next thing, you can take that to the bank and cash check. I don't know any of them right now, but saying every one of them wrong. But yeah, goddamn brilliant sci-fi action movie.
Just love that. I've not seen Big Trouble in years now, but Is that John Carpenter's score as well? Because he's got a habit of scoring his own work, doesn't he? As a
Yeah.
way of yeah.
He's definitely got his hand in it. Like there is some songs. I think there's bands that have done it. Like just like the score to the film, but they're actually singing the words of like Big Trouble in Little China, and it sounds ridiculous, but it works.
Yeah, there's a couple of John Carpenter sort of films like that where you've just got like there's a weird 90s dance song I like that uses the one where there's a song in Precinct 13. Just its tunes are iconic, and yeah, I think Big Trouble in Little China score is great. Okay, number ones. What are everyone's favourite 80s movies of all time?
I think we're all going to agree on this one.
3, 2, 1. Oh,
I don't think so.
oh my goodness!
Oh, what?
Wow! I was not expecting 4 completely different movies. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I think people just didn't think about Highlander. I think it's possible you're now using it.
No, I
thought about Commando. I didn't think about Highlander.
Highlander's okay.
Yeah, it's good. Police Story is a good shout as well. Okay. Oh my goodness! I wasn't expecting blanket disarray in the number one spot. So yeah. Right, Andrew, talk us through Highlander, because it is I fucking forgot about Highlander.
I genuinely like this. Isn't just my favourite action movie of the 80s. This is my favourite movie of the 80s, and possibly one of my top 3 or 4 favourite movies of all time. The story's great. Sean Connery, as always, is brilliant in everything that he does. The score by Queen and the score by Mark Kamen, and tying in with the Queen sort of music that runs through it. Mark Kamen, I think, did all the classical sort of stuff, and then they tied in so brilliantly with the Queen's sort of sections of it. Is probably the best soundtrack of any movie that's ever been made that wasn't made as a musical, like Les Mis or The Commitments or something like that. It's just or Braveheart possibly. It's just phenomenal. It's about an immortal Scotsman that kicks ass. How could I not relate to that when I was a young man as well? And it starred the greatest Scotsman ever born playing an Egyptian with a Spanish name. How could you not? You know what I mean? Highlander's just a great movie. I'll put in my grave. That'll still be a movie that I watch annually. And one of the great disappointments in my life is that I sat my boys down a few years ago to say, look, we're going to watch Dad's favourite movie. And Unenthusiastic was probably the reaction.
I thought you were going to say like the most disappointing moments of your life was going to see Highlander 2.
Highlander 2. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the right answer.
I always thought they should have made a sequel. It was so good. They should have made a sequel or a couple of sequels. Should have spawned a TV show. But unfortunately, nothing was made beyond that one movie.
Fair enough. Yeah. Good. Perfect. John, Commando was my number 5. That was one of the ones I was rotating alongside Running Man and Predator.
Yeah, I mean, I had a list of about 10 or 15 sort of movies I was kind of rotating between, but then I remembered just Commando. I used to always watch Commando. Just such a fantastic film. The score, the fact that Schwarzenegger can't say the letter Che, so his daughter Cheney the whole film. Che! That's why he shouts the film. It's amazing. And of course you've got
Alyssa Milano as well, wasn't it?
Alyssa Milano, and she's like 10 or something, yeah. And then you've got the immortal, Let Us Steam Bennett at the end, which is just one of the best things in an action film of all time ever.
That for me, that film, they really embraced the one-liners from him. That was I let him go.
Oh yeah,
things like that.
Yeah,
you just like.
That's the first time Schwarzenegger came into my awareness because I saw him interviewed on Ted Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's this? What's this from? Command. That sounds good to me. And then, obviously, it was just later till I was old enough to watch it, and just fantastic. I love it to this day.
Stu, you had a Police Story. The Jackie Chan, isn't it? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yep. That's definitely like one of his big sort of breakout roles outside of like the traditional kung fu movies, like the sort of modern day martial arts classic, which features some of his most risky stunts, like hanging off the side of a double-decker bus with an umbrella, or jumping down it's like almost like Christmas lights from the top story of like a shopping mall all the way to the bottom to stop the crooks from getting away. So it's like some of his most risky stunts, but it's just again brilliant martial arts film. Great comedy thrown in there. Like his girlfriend is the butt of every joke, and yeah, it's just one of these films that has a great amount of nostalgia, and I think it's probably the film that launched him as like an action star, like a modern day action star. But
Yeah.
no, just like that. It's the thing
Are we losing Stu
where
again?
like
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
sorry,
wrote
it's in
Stu.
slow motion.
the theme tune, he sung the theme.
Sorry, Stu. We lost you again. But you got it in there. You were singing the Jackie Chan write the theme tune and sing the theme tune in Police Story. I want that to be. I want that to be true. There we
Again,
go.
I've not seen that
No.
since VHS.
No.
Okay. I have. I'm gutted, guys. Absolutely gutted. I just assumed when you said we'll have the same answer, I just assumed it'd be Aliens. Aliens is kind of like you were saying. Like, might be my favorite 80's movie. Might be my favorite movie of all time. It's just tremendous. Just everything about it. Obviously, like, is just like they did everything they could for they completely just rewrote what they were going to do for Alien. You know, like they came up. They were like, let's, instead of doing another horror movie, let's do something completely out of the blocks. Let's make it a military movie set in space. Sigourney Weaver, like, again being like the coolest person on the planet for 2 hours. Even the tropes of having an 80's child, having a little child in it, and actually Newt's not that annoying. So, like, you know, like included the 80's trope of having a child in your ensemble cast, but actually managed to overcome the trope of that child being a pain. Just great. Obviously, the political undertones. Michael Bain showing up again as Hicks. Just Bill Paxman, game over, man, game over. You could just instantly quotable. Some great scares, some great action. One of the coolest one-liners in movie history when I'm not going to say it because I think we managed to get through here without swearing, which will be good because that'll look good on the algorithm. But obviously Sigourney Weaver coming out in the blinking in the loader and shouting at the alien queen, you know, get away from her, you B word. Just absolutely incredible. Just and I'm really surprised that I'm the only person to mention it in 20 possible movies of the 80's. But yeah.
It's a great movie, man. It established a genre as well. See this genre of like kind of miners in space sort of thing, which is still to this day,
Yeah.
Expanse and things like that are heavily influenced by that sort of thing. You know,
Absolutely.
seminal movie.
So I can reveal that there are lots of movies, including Police Story, Highlander, Aliens, Commando, The Running Man, Lethal Weapon. No, not Lethal Weapon. So the Die Hard as well. Sorry. So we as a group have scientifically proven that Running Man, Die Hard, Police Story, Commando, Aliens, and Highlander are all amazing action movies of the 80's, but of equal worth. And I actually, looking at a list, I'm like, I could watch any of those movies and not be annoyed that I've watched that one. I've missed one of the other ones. But using my new method of ratings, the best 80's action movie is Predator. There you go. And that can't be refuted. I'm afraid that's now locked in. If you disagree, please put your things in the comments and like tell us what your top 5 80's movies are of all time and all that nonsense.
Monster movies that exist.
Yeah.
You can't argue with the algorithm.
Yeah, awesome. Never argue with the algorithm. Join us next time for what we're doing, X-Men characters. Yes. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for stopping by. Click buttons. All this stuff that is quite embarrassing to do. There you go. Yeah. Thank you. There you go. Awesome. Cool. That was alright. Do you want to just wire straight to the next one? Does anyone want to leave?
Is my quality too shit to be here?